All right, y'all, welcome to the show. We got a big one for you. So in just a second, just some absolutely horrifying news I have to share with you. There's a new study that just came out on the death toll in Gaza, and you'll see it with your own eyes and hear it with your own ears, and it is... I've run out of words to describe the horrors that we've witnessed. So we'll dive into that. We also have a shocking Supreme Court decision, which effectively is going to doom immigrants who are deported from the U.S., many of them, to literal slavery. I'm not kidding. That is not an exaggeration. So we'll talk about that. We also have Trump is now stealing money from FEMA, which he's trying to abolish. So that's the disaster relief agency. And he's putting that money towards what they're calling Alligator Alcatraz, which is a new concentration camp in the Everglades in Florida. So that's great. We have that on top of CCOT in El Salvador and Guantanamo Bay, where they're now sending thousands of people. And then also later on, some MAGA dorks freak out at AOC for trying to impeach Trump. Joe Rogan's brain has officially stopped working, and a tourist from Norway was deported because he had a J.D. Vance meme on his phone to show you just how dystopian this moment is that we're in. So you guys know the drill. Everybody please do me a big favor and subscribe to the channel. That helps out big time, and it costs you nothing at all. Much love to everybody who donates $2 a month or $5 a month or $7 a month on Patreon if you'd like to help the show out. That link is below. Remember, this is real independent media. I've never talked to an advertiser. I've never done an ad read. This is grassroots funded, man. We also have the default ads on YouTube, but there's a big buffer between myself and the advertisers, but you guys really make this show work from the ground up. Truly, truly appreciate it. You can also subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. That link is below. And go subscribe to the Corin's World YouTube channel where you can see the Kyle and Corin episodes, the new ones that have been dropping every single week. All right, y'all, let's get it. And unfortunately, we're starting on a really sad note here. So the Cradle says the following. Harvard-linked study finds Israel, quote, disappeared nearly 400,000 Palestinians in Gaza, half of them children. The study by a Ben-Gurion University professor uses data-driven analysis and spatial mapping to highlight a severe decline in Gaza's population since October 2023. So, guys, we had speculated that up to 400,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza. And the reason we speculated that is because both Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, when asked about what to do with the people that remain in Gaza, they sort of hinted that, yeah, we got to get rid of about like 1.8 million people. Well, if you do the math on that, if there were 2.3 million before, and now there's 1.8, I mean, the math, it speaks for itself. That the official death toll that's been reported by the Gaza Health Ministry of about 50 or 60,000 people, that is a severe undercount of how many people have actually been murdered by Israel. Well, now we have some validation. I should also point out there was that study of, I believe it was U.S. doctors who were in Gaza, who they did their own report at the time, and we're going back maybe 4 months now, and they said that it looked like it was at least 199,000 Palestinians who've been killed by Israel. And for the record, this is how genocides work, is that in the moment, you don't really have an understanding of the scale and the scope of the devastation and the terrorism. You only get a better sense after the fact. All right, so let's dive into it. A study published via the Harvard Dataverse reveals that Israel has disappeared at least 377,000 Palestinians since the start of its genocidal campaign against the Gaza Strip in 2023. Half of this number is believed to be Palestinian children. The report was written by Israeli professor Yaakov Garb, who used data-driven analysis and spatial mapping to show how the Israeli army's siege of Gaza and indiscriminate attacks on civilians in the enclave have led to a serious drop in its population. The 377,000 Palestinians who are unaccounted for due to Israel's genocide are approximately 17% of the Gaza Strip's entire population, which now stands at about 1.85 million. Prior to the war in Gaza, the Strip's population was estimated at 2.227 million. While some are displaced or missing, a significant number are believed to have been killed by Israeli forces, according to the report. The professor notes that the official death toll of 61,000 is clearly an underestimate, as victims who remain trapped under rubble are not included. Garb also condemned in the report the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, a controversial U.S.-Israeli aid distribution mechanism launched last month. Quote, These aid compounds seem to reflect a logic of control, not assistance, and it would be a misnomer to call them humanitarian aid hubs. They do not adhere to humanitarian principles, and much of their design and operation is guided by other objectives, which undermine their declared purpose. The UN has accused GHF of being designed to further the forced displacement. Since it began operations, GHF has led to the deaths of hundreds of Palestinian aid seekers by Israeli forces. The Harvard report is not the first indication that the death toll in Gaza could, in fact, be significantly higher than reported. The Lancet Medical Journal released a study in January this year revealing that the death toll from Israel's genocide in Gaza was most likely undercounted by 41% in the first 9 months of the war. The January study highlighted that around 59.1% of those killed were women, children, and elderly. The year before, in July 2024, The Lancet said Israel's assault on Gaza could lead to between 149,000 and 598,000 deaths. I mean, we witnessed a Holocaust, right? We're witnessing a Holocaust. We're witnessing a genocide. I mean, it's just the truth. I know people have been distracted lately because Israel attacked Iran, and then the U.S. illegally attacked Iran's nuclear facilities, an illegal and offensive strike against a country that didn't attack us and wasn't building a nuke. I know everybody was focused more on that, but this hasn't stopped. And in fact, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, we told you guys from the beginning, this was a CIA Mossad op, and it's a fake humanitarian agency. And what they do is they lure Palestinians from all over Gaza to come to a specific area in Gaza and say, hey, we're promising you food, we're promising you medicine. Then they show up, and in many instances, the IDF opens fire and murders them. I'm not even kidding. It's some literal Nazi Holocaust-like nightmare scenario. And then beyond that, the long-term goal is whoever doesn't get killed, they'll keep having Palestinians move further and further away from their home, and then eventually they want to move them all to Libya. They've been trying to make a deal to move them into Libya, which, by the way, Libya is a failed state with open slave markets. So I wonder how that'll go if Palestinians are shipped there through no choice of their own, right? So this is where we are. This is what's happening. And I need to highly recommend that you guys do something. So much love and a big shout out to Dropsite News because they've been on top of this like nobody else has. They're just doing amazing work over there. Ryan Grimm and Jeremy Scahill, and they got sources on the ground in Gaza. And if you just scroll through their timeline, scroll through about 50 or 100 tweets, and your mind will be blown as to just the extent of the death and destruction and horror and terrorism that we're witnessing. So let's do a little bit of that here. Gaza Health Ministry, June 25th update. The Palestinian Ministry of Health in Gaza has issued its daily report on casualties from the Israeli attacks. This is just one day. 79 killed and 391 injured in the past 24 hours alone. This includes 33 people killed while trying to access food aid. One day. Here's some pictures of the Israeli army has killed 6 siblings, Ahmad Mohammed, Abdul Rahman, Yusuf Aham, and Shad Ayman al-Jamal, along with their mother, Hanan Khalid al-Jamal, in an airstrike targeting their home they were sheltering in the Al-Sabra neighborhood of South Gaza. And here, these people were killed. Most of them kids, as you can see. Most of them young men or kids. They were just murdered. I'm literally talking about one day. One day is what we're talking about here. Look, I'll give you a warning in advance, but this one's hard to watch. Gaza Health Ministry warns of imminent collapse of medical system. The Palestinian Health Ministry in Gaza has issued a dire warning. The Strip's healthcare system is on the verge of total collapse because Israel continues to block the entry of emergency medical supplies. And then this video here is Hassan Barbuk, 3 years old, died Tuesday from severe malnutrition, so he was starved to death. Severe malnutrition, kidney failure, enlarged liver, and acute acidosis. His family issued multiple urgent appeals to transfer him abroad for treatment. Israeli authorities denied all requests. This beautiful little boy was killed because he was starved to death, died of malnutrition. I mean, this is just... We've looked at, 2 tweets? Both of them are absolutely earth-shattering. Here's another one. Press release issued by Gaza Government Media Office. A full month has passed since the Israeli occupation established death traps and mass lures, resulting in 549 martyrs and 4,000 injured, 39 missing persons. Quote, "This is the suffering we want the world to see. Every second, one of us is killed. Every second, someone is killed just trying to bring bread home for their children. From inside the Zakim area in northern Gaza, displaced Palestinians tell Sahat English how aid deliveries have become death traps where flour is mixed with bullets. They call it the death arena, a place where Palestinians face a daily order ordeal, just to feed their families. Every second one of us is killed. This guy's explaining what they're going through. I literally can't imagine. I can't imagine. And I want to show you one more thing. This is what it looks like at these fake aid sites where they lure them and then murder them. This is what it looks like. Ready? Starving to death, lured to get food, murdered in the process. You know, there was a chilling quote from a top Israeli government official recently where he said, "We can kill 100 Palestinians a day and nobody stops us. We just get away with it. People are like used to it. So now if we kill 100 a day, everything's fine. Nobody stops us. Nobody makes a big deal. There aren't big media articles over it. There's not big, news pieces on TV. So we can just do it." The fact that we've all witnessed this, it's all occurred right in front of our faces, and everybody seemingly got used to it or passively accepted it, that has proven to me that there has been zero evolution since the horrors of World War II and the Holocaust. Zero evolution. And the fact that you have the United States and politicians here providing cover for Netanyahu, who deserves to be arrested and locked up forever for the giant war criminal that he is, it really gives you a bleak view of humanity. It really does. So do not take your eyes off of Gaza, and do not stop applying pressure. Do not stop talking about it, because any one of those people that are in Gaza, that could be you or me, right? I brought this point up before, but now we're back to a world of complete might makes right. It's the law of the jungle. The idea of having international law, having the Geneva Conventions, having some standards and rules that apply to everybody, it's a lie. It's a lie. It's not real. It's completely and utterly fake. And the future of humanity, I shudder at the thought of what happens in the future with humanity. Because if we were all able to sit here and witness a genocide with our own two eyes still going on, and passively accept it, there's nothing that won't actually make us draw a red line and demand an end to it and actually force an end to it. So I wish I had a positive way to end this segment, but I don't. I'm just torn apart by what's happening to the people in Gaza and how it's seemingly out of sight, out of mind for so many now. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.